Hawkeye, you've got yourself some foot problems. Ankles, rolling ankles, your cleats are causing foot pain, and then the blisters are causing you to have to compensate with your toe, which is creating more problems. Okay, so let's just knock it off one by one. Knock them down. Rolling the foot, ankle pain. If you search Kador Ziani, 7 postures, so Ziani, and then put Ziani, and then decrease injury, you're gonna see this. Maybe it's a 20-minute video. This guy Kador Ziani, he's probably one of the most explosive humans on the planet. At 50 years old, he's still dunking on a 10-foot hoop at 5 feet. Maybe he's 5'9", he's maybe 5'9", 5'10". But what he's gonna do is show you these postures. And before I learned them, I thought I was an athlete. I thought I was always athletic growing up. But this takes you to a level where you start to get this deep awareness of your toes and your feet. This strength and flexibility and mobility that you gain from these 7 postures. It starts to relieve pressure in your lower back and spine. You'll feel that when you're doing these stretches, postures, you're going to feel tension in other parts of your body. So it's almost as if you start to strengthen and develop awareness in your toes. It strengthens your whole kinetic chain, right? That foot, ankle, that toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, right? And then it's your body's connected from fingers to toes. So as you relieve tension in one area, it spreads throughout your whole body. So he's got a book that's called 7 Postures by Kador Ziani. It's $30, but it's worth its weight in gold. But you don't need to buy the book first. He's got hundreds, if not thousands, of videos online, and I'll show you a few postures right now. So the first is this one he calls, so there's one where where you go like this, right? You have your ankles up and splayed out, right? Your ankles are splayed. And then you start to sit back. You sit back on your ankles, and then what this does, right? You see this tremendous stretch you're getting in the ankle joint. If you're getting a tremendous stretch in the knees, this might be tough on your right. You can do it on a rug or some grass. You don't need to do it on concrete, right? You want to protect your knees at first. Hello, puppy. Hi, puppy. And so this is one of the postures, and then you can slowly rock to the left, right? Shift to the left, shift to the right. Maybe you can put a hand down for some support. If you can only get here, right? If you can only get here, that's okay. If you can get here, that's okay. You can start to explore with where your hips are at. You could raise your hands up in the air for a power posture, right? Start to do an Amy Cuddy power posing, which is going to boost some testosterone, lower cortisol, right? So you see, I'm starting to roll. I'm starting to get up on it's like you're sitting your butt on the inside of your arches. And then the variation from that posture is you can come here, right? You put that one of the ankles down, and now the other foot is forward. So now you're sitting up on here, and it's just gonna hit it in a different way, right? You start to get this nice, it's almost as if you're, it's just an effortless way to develop tremendous strength and flexibility in your feet that I've been missing for 27 years, right? So that's how I would say that's step 1. Can you learn Kador Ziani's 7 postures? I would say an underrated step 2 is investing in a pair of minimalist shoes, right? Because minimalist shoes are designed to where each step is going to make your foot stronger. Your traditional shoe these days, they're built, right? They have got a thick sole. They've got a narrow toe box, and they don't bend. So I'm wearing an Olakai right now, which I found to be super comfortable, very minimalist. So when I say the word minimalist shoe, what does that mean? In my mind, it means wide toe box, bendability in the toe, right? You don't want this to be hard to bend backwards, or else it's going to hinder your toe's ability to absorb shock from the ground, right? You want this to be bendy, and then you want to have a very thin sole. So I've tested Vibrams, I've tested Zero Shoes, right? Xero shoes.com, zeroshoes.com. I just got a pair of Sagaros in, Saguaro. And what I really like about Zero Shoes and the new ones I'm testing out, it's like, if you can get a shoe that looks great for going out, like you could wear it to a nice dinner, and you can train in them, and you can wear them for work, you kind of get this trinity going. And the trinity is like, it's you don't need to think about, it removes this decision of what do I wear, what do I wear. If you can remove that decision of what do I wear, so it's called the Einstein, it's like an Einstein technique. Einstein, he only wore, the story goes, he only wore one suit jacket, and this is so he didn't have to devote any time to thinking about what to wear, which opened up creativity in other parts of his life, in theory. So the whole idea is, right, so with this one shoe, I could go out to dinner, I could wear it to work, and I could wear it when I'm doing, training, getting touches on the ball. And with an investment, right, you could find yourself a cheap pair of minimalist shoes for maybe $60. So if you're not working full time, then maybe you could help out around the house, do some take care of the lawn, do some dishes, take out the trash, little things, right? Little things. So that would be another thing to consider. And if you think about, here, let me show you one thing. So you said you're wearing special cleats, but this is one technique that you want to do with every pair of cleats. Give me one second. Any pair of cleats you get, you want to spend a lot of time bending it backwards, bending this toe box backwards, bending this backwards, bending this backwards, and just making it so that it starts to become, right, more pliable. And because, like I said before, anytime, right, if there's even a little bit of tension from here, it's going to make it harder for your toes to do what your toes were meant to do, which is your toes are like springs, right? There's this explosiveness that you could start to develop in your toe area, and that's what you'll start to appreciate with that Cador, right? The Cador Ziani 7 Postures book and all his videos. So doesn't matter what pair of cleats you have. This is something that was shown to me by this guy named Fabian McCarthy, a buddy on my team's dad from PDA Cruyff. So give that a try. That might help some prevent, that'll just allow your toes to do what your toes are supposed to do. So just by doing like that, that could also help as well. Okay, so let's recap. Question 1 is, can I check out Cador Ziani's 7 Postures? Can I invest in a pair of minimalist shoes? And my current favorites to this day still are zeroshoes.com, xeroshoes.com. Question 3 is, can I bend my cleats and or shoes back so that I can allow my toes full range of motion? Question 4 is, can I invest in or make an RMT rope? And an RMT rope is just a piece of rope, as long as you are tall, that you can make at your local hardware store, right? For less than $10. You can use a men's tie, right? You can tie 2 shoelaces together. You can cut a towel in half long ways. You can use an extension cord. And why this is something that's going to help improve the strength of your feet and prevent you from rolling your ankles is because as you swing the rope in rhythmic circles while breathing and staying relaxed, you're going to start to develop an awareness. Since your body is connected from fingers to toes, as you swing the rope with your hands, you develop full body awareness in a low effort way. It's strength through motion right? Because you're working one-legged balance. You could get up on your toes, you could get up on your heels, on the outside of your feet, right? You could start to work on your agility, mobility, coordination, all at the same time, right? So there's so many things going on that it's hard to feel until you start using it. If you have a jump rope lying around, you can do some of the stuff, right? You could do almost anything that you could do with a jump rope. You could do basically any rope flow pattern that you could do with an RMT rope. But I think most jump ropes, the idea of most jump ropes is that you start from behind and jump through it, right? So you're leaving the ground, and which is not a bad thing, right? I think jump ropes are tremendous for improving, endurance and strength, and there's definitely a place for them. But the reason why RMT ropes, I've noticed, completely changed the quality of my game. RMT ropes, they completely changed the trajectory of my training. I just noticed that I became more explosive. It improved my running technique. It improved my juggling, which improved my dribbling, my passing, and my shooting. And you start to begin to appreciate how much your hands influence the quality of your movement on the field, right? So you begin to develop this multi-directional movement, right? David Weck, the founder, he says it's balanced locomotion, right? Soccer isn't a 90-minute, right? It's not running you're not running in a straight line for 90 minutes, right? You're stopping, you're starting, you're sprinting, changing direction, right? Getting up off the ground. So for those reasons, it just allows you to be more dangerous on the field because you're gonna be moving, right? You start to appreciate how your spine is bending and twisting, right? You could work on your skips. You could, right? Floyd Mayweather likes to go underneath the leg. You could go high, you could go low, one-legged balance, right? You're just developing dynamic balance through different ranges of motion. So for that reason, this is really gonna help you strengthen and prevent those ankle rolls. Right? Because when you roll your ankle, your foot went in a place where, right, there was a disconnect between your feet and your brain, right? Your foot went somewhere where your brain wasn't prepared for, and so what you start to have to do is you have to improve the communication between your feet and your brain, so that when you put your ankle in a way, you start to put your ankles in certain ways, and your brain says, oh, okay, I know, we've talked about this before, I know what this is supposed to feel like. But if you have no lines of communication with your feet, if you're wearing shoes that prevent you from feeling the ground, feeling grounded, then you're going to have these ankle rolls, you're going to have this pain in your feet, because it's basically your brain telling your feet, I don't know if this is okay, like, I don't know what to do with this position. So as you begin to develop your strength and flexibility, mobility in your ankles, you're going to start to be able to do this. And I would not recommend this, right? This is not recommended, but this is after time what you're going to be able to do, right? So but this is from 27 years of ankle strengthening. So RMT rope. Question number 4 is, can I invest or make an RMT rope? Less than $10, or if you're lazy, you could buy one online. Maybe get one for $40, and the founder is David Weck, W-E-C-K. So just Google it and you could find so much more info. And again, this is something that I wish I knew 27 years ago. And I use it every day, right? You saw it. I use them as neckties, right? As I use it wear it to work, and I just give them away, or I sell them to people who they're just great for rehab. They're great for movement, and you can use them for skipping. So they're something that I bring with me everywhere I go, and I will probably for the rest of my life. So give it a try. So that should attack, right? That should attack question number, the first segment of your question, ankle pain and ankle rolling. You could also do Ido Portal, IDO space PORTAL, Squat Clinic and Squat Clinic 2.0. He's going to show you how to get into some of these postures which are just ancient human postures, right? Humans have been kind of getting to this position for, since we were cavemen or whatever. So the whole point is that we've lost our ability, especially as soccer players. I mean, this is something that I would say would challenge your average soccer player, just because it's not really taught, and we're sitting in chairs all the time, sitting in chairs and couches. So we've almost lost this ability to squat. So this is something that you'll start to notice. Again, it's going to help you take away that pain from those ankles, because you're going to start to get up on your toes. You're just going to start to get up on your heels. He's going to show you how to do, right? Ito portal, go like this, open it up here, 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 fist here, start to get up here, right, rock the ankle, oof, get up here, right, hit the glutes, right, so all that jazz. You could start to get up, right, if you grab a, can you see if I'm open? No, you can't. So you could grab a pole or a chair or a bench and then start to just lean in and open up, right, you start to just squat into, right, really open up your quads and your ankles and your hip flexors. So this is going to help as well. Okay, part 2. What was their other thing? It was lightheaded now. Question 1 was ankle pain. Question 2 was ankle pain. There was blisters. Then it was, pain in the shoe. Well, I addressed that first, but I would say a lot of players ask questions about, right? They think the more expensive the shoe, the better they're gonna play. And I noticed personally that not only are the cheapest shoes you can buy in the store, not only are they way less than your elite shoe, but since they weigh less and they're stripped of all the bells and whistles, I just noticed that when I started investing, I needed a pair of shoes in a pinch, so I went to whatever store and I got the cheapest cleat that fit my size, and it was super light, and it's like you put Messi in any pair of cleats, he's gonna do excellent. Right? It's not about the cleats. The cleats, these kids are telling their parents to buy $300 cleats, $400 cleats, yet they're not even bringing a ball with them and juggling for 60 seconds a day. So I would say, if you're not spending hours and hours, if you're not spending significant of time playing, training, and going to, right, if you're not practicing every day and playing games on weekends, then to invest in a very expensive shoe, I think doesn't make sense. So I think if you're just getting into it, right, and especially if your feet are growing, it makes sense to buy the cheapest pair of cleats you can, right? Because it'll allow you to play and just test shoes and start to. Right, I wouldn't. You say you need a special pair of cleats just to play, or it's going to prevent pain. I think your feet have been evolving over thousands, if not millions of years. So they have this wisdom. Your body has this wisdom about it. So I think to say that one specific pair of cleats is going to be the problem solver of this pain, I would argue that spending less time in shoes that hinder your ability to feel where the earth is, right? The more time you spend barefoot, the more time that you spend developing awareness with the earth and doing some of those stretches, I think you're gonna feel that pain alleviated, and there's less of a correlation with your cleats and more of a correlation with what your feet are doing when they're not in those cleats. Okay, blisters. 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 Foot care, proper foot care. I remember I see kids. They go play soccer, and then I see them, or I see them in like Whole Foods or whatever, and they still have their cleats on, like 2 to 3 hours after the soccer game. I think you want to start to get in the habit of getting your feet out of the cleats after the soccer game, and getting out of your socks and allowing your feet to maybe give them a quick rinse, maybe walking around on the grass and just letting them air out, because if you have your cleats in this basically in a sweat box, right? Your cleats are you play a whole game, your socks are sweaty. Your feet are sweaty. If you get them out, then it maybe will allow your feet to breathe. So keeping them clean, blisters. You could also just try, like let's say you have a tournament, maybe just packing some extra socks that you can change out of. I had a buddy who I remember he would, at halftime, if you play some rainy games or you play on fields that are wet, he would swap out his socks halfway through the game. And I think this is something that might help you prevent blisters. There's mixed ideas on what to do with a blister. I remember I was in France, Paris, and I clipped my toe on a piece of on a cobblestone, and it had a nice blister bubble. I asked my buddy what to do, and he said I would try and puncture it and drain it, and I did, and it was such a relief, and I'm glad I did it. But you got to make sure. So now, if you puncture the skin, now you have an open wound. You really want to take care of open wounds, right? You'd be surprised what a neglected wound will do to you. You could get some serious infections. So taking a hot shower before bed will not only help clean your body. Hot bath or shower, it won't only help clean your body, but it also encourage great rest. And it took me way too long to develop a sleep routine from a young age, and one of the things I would have done is a hot shower right before bed every night, and it took me too long to figure that out as well. So give those things a try. Hopefully they help, and reach out with any questions. 508-505-1180. All right, thank you.